May 2026 is absolutely absurd. James Bond is back. Forza finally went to Japan. The Sims has its first real competitor in 20 years. And Subnautica 2 is actually, finally, against all legal odds, entering early access. I've got 10 games. Every single one of them is worth your time. And more importantly, I'm going to tell you exactly why. So let's go. IO Interactive, the Hitman developers, have been working on James Bond games since 2020, and instead of reskinning Agent 47 with a tuxedo, they actually built something new. 007 First Light follows a 26-year-old James Bond, played by Patrick Gibson, on the mission that earns him his license to kill. This isn't based on any film, it's not using any actor's likeness. IO built their own Bond from scratch. That's the first time that's happened in a playable game since 2001. Talking about gameplay wise, IO took their Hitman DNA and they just pushed it forward, literally. Combat draws from Batman Arkham's free flow system and Uncharted set piece spectacle. They're drivable vehicles for the first time in an IO game, including a modified Aston Martin Valhalla. Stealth is still there, but you're a spy, not an assassin, so the emphasis is on infiltration, investigation, and eavesdropping rather than elaborate disguise puzzles. The Glacier engine got a new volumetric smoke system and fully dynamic game illumination. IO CEO has openly said he wants this game to become a trilogy. It releases May the 27th, PS5, Xbox and PC, with Switch 2 later in the summer. This is the biggest single player launch of the month and maybe possibly the year. LEGO games have been coasting on charm and co-op for years. Legacy of the Dark Knight looks like it's actually trying. Fluid combos, stealth techniques, and detective skills, which is the first time a LEGO game has had combat worth talking about since... Actually, I'm not sure a LEGO game has ever had combat worth talking about. You're grappling, gliding, and driving through an open world Gotham City that's immersive in a way LEGO games haven't really attempted before. It's story-led, features DC's most infamous villains, and still has that legendary LEGO humour that somehow makes grown adults laugh. The real surprise is the platform lineup: PS5, Xbox, Nintendo Switch 2 and PC. That Switch 2 launch window inclusive is notable. If you have kids, this is a no-brainer. If you don't have kids but you love Batman and LEGO humour, it's still a no-brainer. Sometimes the best games of the month are the ones you don't have to write a dissertation to enjoy. And finally, the game that almost didn't make it, not because of development problems, because of a $250 million lawsuit. Here's the short version. Subnautica 2 has been developed by Unknown Worlds. Publisher Krafton fired the entire leadership team, allegedly to avoid paying a $250 million bonus. The fired leaders sued, Krafton countersued, and both sides accused each other of truly wild things, including claims that Krafton's CEO used ChatGPT to brainstorm ways to dodge the bonus. A judge ruled in March 2026 that Krafton had to reinstate the original boss and extend the bonus deadline, and the game was cleared for release, and somehow, through all of that, the actual development team kept building. Subnautica is entering early access in May on PC and Xbox. It's the first game in the series with online co-op, up to 4 players exploring, building custom bases, and surviving together. The original Subnautica is one of the best survival games ever made. If the sequel delivers even a fraction of that, now with friends, it's going to dominate the rest of the year. They finally did it, Forza Horizon in Japan. Forza Horizon 6 is set across the largest map in Horizon history, and it's in Japan, which means you're getting Tokyo streets and fallen cherry blossoms that scattered behind your car. Over 550 cars at launch, new body kits, paintable windows, cosmetic tyre wear, and 540 degrees of steering wheel rotation. There's a new R-Class for track cars, and the campaign starts you as a tourist, not a superstar, and you earn your way up through wristbands to the Legend Island. There are some tough battles, nighttime mountain pass races, drag meets, time attack circuits, and a new co-op event lab called Horizon Collab where you build with friends. It releases May the 19th on Xbox, PC, PS5 is coming later this year. This is the racing game of the year, and most likely the game of the month. For 20 years, The Sims had zero competition, not limited competition, zero, and EA responded to that monopoly the way any company would, by releasing increasingly expensive DLC packs that charge you actually money for things like a pool. PARALIVES is the first game that might actually change that. PARALIVES is a life simulation with hyper-stylized art style, a build mode that reviewers are already calling the best in any life sim ever made, and a character creator called ParaMaker that offers absurd levels of customization. Early access launches May the 25th on Steam for PC and Mac. It's single player and no internet is required. Will it replace The Sims overnight? Probably not, but it will force EA to actually try for the first time in a decade. Possibly, and that alone makes it one of the most important games of the month. Next up we have Thick as Thieves, set in Kilkerne, an alternate history 1910s Scottish city where magic and early technology collide. You play as a member of the Thieves Guild, pulling off daring heists to claim heirlooms and uncover arcane secrets. Solo or online co-op, 2 playable thieves with unique abilities, and here's the key detail: no heist plays out the same way twice. Security layouts and guard configurations shift from difficulty, creating dozens of distinct approaches. You've got Siver Slap to short circuit lights, smoke bombs to break line of sight, and a pickpocket fairy to trigger switches from a distance. Yeah, a pickpocket fairy, I didn't just make that up. It releases May the 20th on PC via Steam. Console versions were originally announced but now have no confirmed date. If you've been mourning the death of the immersive sim, this is the resurrection attempt from the people who invented the genre. Supermassive Games has spent roughly 7 years making the same game with just different wallpaper. Dark pictures on a boat, dark pictures in a desert, dark pictures in a house. Now it's dark pictures on a spaceship, except this time, it might actually be the good one. Directive 8020 is Supermassive's first Unreal Engine 5 title, and the jump is immediately visible. The 4K visuals are actually next gen, not next gen for a Supermassive game, actual next gen. But more importantly, the gameplay has been rebuilt. The controls are new from scratch, stealth feels intentional, the scares, they actually land. It's still a dark pictures game, so you're making branching choices that determine who lives and who dies, but the sci-fi survival horror setting, it gives them a scale the series haven't seen before. It releases May the 12th, PS5, Xbox and PC. If you've been burned by Supermassive before, I get it, but the previews for this one are actually different, and if it's bad, I will personally apologise in the comments, which I've never done, so the stakes are high for all of us. MIXTAPE is a new game from Beethoven and Dinosaur, the team behind the BAFTA-winning The Artful Escape. 3 friends, their last night together. A road trip soundtracked by a mixtape that pulls them into a dreamlike reenactment of their formative memories. You'll skateboard, fly, take photos in an abandoned theme park after hours, hit baseballs, and set off fireworks from the backseat of your car. It's the greatest hits of the teenager experience, from first kiss to last dance, soaked in 90s nostalgia. The soundtrack features the Smashing Pumpkins, Iggy Pop, Joy Division, The Cure, Roxy Music, and many more. If you grew up in the 90s, this is a weaponized nostalgia. If you didn't, it's still a beautifully told coming-of-age story about growing up, moving on, and the bittersweet feeling of knowing a chapter of your life is ending. Comes out May the 7th, PS5, Xbox, Nintendo Switch 2 and PC. This is the one you play when you need a break from shooting things. Will, Follow the Light is a first-person narrative adventure from Tomorrowhead Studio, a tiny indie team with a background in CGI and an obsession with travel. And honestly, you can tell. You play as Will, a lighthouse keeper on a remote island in the northern seas whose routine gets shattered by a radio message. A disaster has hit your hometown and your son is missing. So you board your sailing yacht, called Molly, and set off across the most stunning Unreal Engine 5 northern landscapes I've seen in an indie game. And I mean stunning. Frigid coastlines, abandoned islands accessible only by sea, mountain ranges you cross by dog sledge. The sailing and sledding aren't just cutscenes, they're actual transversal mechanics built into the exploration. but the real hook is the story. What starts as a find your son hit quickly spirals into questions about your relationship with your own father, your missing wife, and whether you're saving your child or yourself. It's a story about fathers and sons, and judging by the tone, it's going to make you cry in a way you won't see coming. Releases May the 17th, PS5, Xbox and PC. This is the quiet pick on the list people will be talking about in December when they're making their Games I Miss videos. Constance is a 2D hand-drawn Metroidvania about an artist wielding a paintbrush trapped inside a colourful but decaying inner world. And if that sounds artsy and pretentious, relax, it has an 85 Metacritic and reviewers are comparing it to Silk Song. It launched on PC last year to quietly stellar reviews. Now it's coming to PS5, Xbox Series XS and Nintendo Switch on May the 1st. If you missed it on PC, this is your chance. If you're a Metroidvania fan who's been starving since Hollow Knight and Silk Song ate up all the oxygen in the genre, Constance is the meal nobody told you about. Short, focused, beautiful, and worth every penny. 10 Games, a hand-drawn Metroidvania, a lighthouse keeper looking for his son, a 90s mixtape nostalgia, and space horror from Until Dawn people. May 2026 is stacked. Tell me in the comments which one you're grabbing first, and if I missed something, make your case. Subscribe if you want these every month, and I'll see you in the next one.